Welcome back, guys. We're here for our Madden 23 Owner Mode Week 11 news episode. Let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into talking about what happened last game out. So obviously, we came off of 2 straight wins against NFC East opponents, a hyper-competitive division. We said today is our day. We're going to go for it. We're going to get a 3rd straight. And we ate a tough defeat. Although, I will say we made a great effort making a comeback. We were down 17-0. They put on 10 more in the process, but we came back within 1 score. Last play of the game, and they batted it away. It could have been a touchdown. Let's take a second to talk about the team as a whole, and then we'll talk about player specific. Offensive yards, they outdid us in that department. I will not lie. They dominated the ball, dominated possession. We could not get the run game going, and they could. 148-44. Passing yards, it was very close in that department, but they were on the money every single pass. Really nothing to say there. Kick return yards, we outdid them by a mile because we never let them return it, and we'll explain what we did in a second. Turnovers 1-2, I'm not mad about it. Those things happen. Obviously, we don't want to give away those 2, but that's a very close turnover ratio, so I won't be mad about it. 4th down conversions 1-1, pretty even there. They kept completing 3rd down conversions. That was huge for them to keep the drives alive. Red zone touchdowns 2-1 for them. Obviously, they scored more. It makes sense. No penalties on the day, so I will take that any day of the week. And if we look at this time possession, they doubled our time possession. They were controlling the ball. We could not make stops. By the box score, obviously scoreless through the first. At the very start of the second, they got a field goal. Then they ended the second with a touchdown, so they went ahead early in that game. Then they put on another touchdown in the 3rd quarter. We answered back with a touchdown. They scored another, and we followed that right back up with a kick return touchdown. I know, it's crazy. We'll talk about it. Then they put up a field goal in the 4th. We put up another touchdown, drove down 6 points away, and we couldn't complete the final play of the game. So it's unfortunate, but those things happen. Going to player-specific stats, Carson Wentz was just so solid for them, and that's going to be a theme for this team, just so solid. 252 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Only ate 1 sack on the day, and his scrambling was out of control. We'll go over that in a second. But Davis Mills, honestly, a pretty solid game. 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's done a lot worse, definitely. So we'll take that any day of the week. If we go into the run game, Antonio Gibson had 19 carries for 88 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day. He was huge. Carson Wentz, 6 for 51, 8.5 a carry. He was huge in the scrambling game. We had to figure out something to stop that, and that was just not happening. Damian Pierce was only able to get 9 for 24, 2.7 a carry. He was stopped, but he was dominant in the first drive. A very good drive for us on the door of getting an opening drive touchdown. This game could have gone very differently, and he got lit up. Fumbled the ball, and I can't even be mad at him for it. It was a huge hit. Not many people can hold on to that ball. 3 for 20 for 6.7 for Marlon Mack. He was solid. The fullback, Alex Arma, for them, did a great job picking up key yards when they needed them. In the receiving game, Quez Watkins. Nobody could have imagined that he was going to be as amazing as he has been. He was 5 for 131, 26.2 yards a catch, 2 receiving touchdowns, and that did not end his day. We'll get into that in a moment. But some huge grabs. We can all remember the 4th down conversion. In our own half, we decided to go for it. Deep 50-yard some ball all the way down the field to get us a touchdown, to get us on the board for the first time of the day. Curtis Samuel was 5 for 89, 17.8 a catch with a touchdown. He was just too fast. We didn't have any corners, any defensive backs that could keep up with him. He was huge for them. Terry McLaurin, we know he's a monster. 7 for 80, 11.4 a catch. He was solid all day. Jahan Dotson, the rookie, had a great day as well, 5 for 46. For us, Nico Collins, 3 for 43. Not too many catches, but he did well with what he got. 4 for 26 for Brevin Jordan. Marlon Mack, 2 for 24 out of the backfield. And then the tight end for them, John Bates, filling in for, don't believe he was the starter. I believe he was filling in for a few injuries. He did a great job as well. But yeah, great job in the receiving game for both departments. Sacks allowed, only 1 for Andrew Norwell, and then no other sacks. Obviously, we took 1, but we can't blame the line on that. I believe it was Mills scrambling out. So yeah, that's that. And defense, we have to talk about defense. Jerome Baker led the way with 16 tackles on the day. It's great production from him, but you hate to see that he had to make that many tackles. That was just how long they were possessing the ball. Second in line with C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Jalen Petre. If we go over tackles for loss, 1 for Jerome Baker, 1 for Jalen Petre, Eric Murray, Ross Blacklock, K.J. Wright, Jamin Davis, and Montez Sweat. Sacks. 1 for Jerome Baker and 1 for Montez Sweat. A pretty good day protection-wise. Can't hate on that. Interceptions. We had 1 for Jamin Davis. It was a bad ball for Davis Mills. He had a good day, but that was a bad ball. put him right in the red zone, but we did stand up and not let him score on that one. CJ Gardner-Johnson got one at the half that we really didn't get to capitalize on because it was his time expired and he got tackled down. But it was a good shot. It got into his head, let him know, hey, we're here to play. We may not have produced in the first half, but we are here to play. It did technically jumpstart the comeback, so I'll take it. And then if we look, I don't believe there's anything else you have to go over. Forced fumbles. There we go, actually. Jamin Davis had the forced fumble. They say Jamin Davis. I'm pretty sure it was Chase Young. I think that stat's wrong because Chase Young blew him up big time. So we'll give him that. Kendall Fuller was the one who picked up the ball. But yeah, just a monster game on both sides of the ball. We can't really be mad. We came close. And I'm proud of how we came back because we couldn't get much done. Joey Slye did miss one kick from far out, which gave us a shot in the comeback. So we'll take that. And I'm sorry, I almost ignored it. Like I said, Quez Watkins, he had 5 kick returns for 197, 39.4 return, because he had one that went for 102 yards from his own end zone for the touchdown. It was huge. Just when we thought we were out of the game because they put up another touchdown, we came back, put up the score, and he kept us in this game. 3 touchdowns on the day, all from him, 2 receiving, and 1 on the kick return. He's been huge. I don't think any of us could have expected his breakout like this. And now let's take a look around the league to talk about some of the games that happened this past week. We'll start with the Thursday Night Football clash because it has one of our division rivals, the Titans. We did pretty well against them, but they went into Lambeau, and it was just going to be a tough game no matter what. They were dominated in offensive yard production, pretty even in the run game, but the pass game is where they lost, and we all knew that was going to be the story. Aaron Rodgers against Ryan Tannehill, what did you expect? Pretty solid game, honestly. Just a pretty even matchup. Packers dominated time of possession, and they did a great job. Ryan Tannehill only had 89 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Aaron Rodgers actually didn't throw any touchdowns. He had 1 pick, but it looks like he got injured for a little bit. Got a pass off for Jordan Love, but it didn't really matter. At the end of the day, the rushing touchdowns came from Aaron Jones with 2 rushing touchdowns, and I'm guessing field goals were the story of this game. Yep, 2 touchdowns for Cody Parkey. Just a solid game. Packers got the job done. And let's talk about Eagles and Colts. We talked about it at halftime during our game. A tough game in Indianapolis, but Philadelphia went on the road. They want to pay back against our division for our blowout, taking the Eagles on, and they came out with the win in Indianapolis, 24-20. Just a very, very tough game. It looks like Indianapolis even got a safety on the day, but just a very even battle. It looks like time of possession may have been a little bit more on Indianapolis' side, so this game probably went down to the wire if I had to guess. Baker Mayfield, 217, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Matt Ryan, 192 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. That may have been the difference in this game, honestly. Jonathan Taylor couldn't get much going. Miles Sanders couldn't get much going. Nyheim Hines, Baker Mayfield, nothing really crazy here. I think that interception might have been the story of the game. Devontae Smith only 86. Ashton Dolan had 84 yards. Touchdowns went to him, Pittman Jr., and A.J. Brown. Pretty even game, and it looks like they won, and that's huge for us. If we're taking a loss, we need the Colts to take a loss so we have any hope of winning the division because they have been dominant this year. Let's see who did get the pick on the day. Taron Johnson, one of the backup corners on the Eagles, making the big play for them when they need it. And that's what you need from a Super Bowl contending team, somebody to make plays from the unlikeliest of places. And for our last game of the week, obviously, I don't want to go over them, but let's talk about, we had a few blowouts this week. We talked about at halftime, Bears-Falcons 45-10. They decided they wanted their second win. They wanted it today. Baltimore blew out Carolina in a shutout, 45-0. Huge. Some pretty massive games this week. But our game this week, our opponents actually had a bye week the week before. We seem to keep running into that. But I want to talk about Browns versus Bills. We're going to see the Browns soon. These are 2 hyper-competitive teams in the AFC, and it was a close one, 35-31. Looks like Cleveland was solid throughout, but Buffalo just put up more throughout the game. Pretty even passing game, pretty even rushing game. It was a pretty close game down to the wire. Time of possession looks like it was pretty even as well. Penalty yards, penalties all around. Player stats, Josh Allen, 371 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Deshaun Watson, 372 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Massive passing day, and it looks like it was a very close game. 2 touchdowns for Devin Singletary. Assuming this game was probably won in the defense if there was that much production. Sacks, 2 for Ed Oliver, 1 for Myles Garrett. Interceptions, 1 for Dane Jackson, 1 for Ronnie Harrison, 1 for Micah Hyde. I think that's where they edged him out, was getting interceptions, turnovers in the defensive game, forced fumbles, no forced fumbles on the day. That had to be it. Yep. Story of the game. Defense wins championships. And now let's take a look. Obviously, we talked about a breakout player last week. I won't speak for anyone. This is Jerome Baker. I'm sorry. I won't speak for anyone else on the team, but I'm pretty happy with my performance this week. You know how elite players always say the game started to slow down for me. Yeah, I finally understand what that means. We love to see it. We can now look at Jerome Baker as a star. We think he's going to progress faster. He's also going to help those around him in the linebacker department. So we love to see that. Great production from our linebackers. We may be starting to turn this around in Houston. And if we talk about re-signing players, we obviously have some negotiations going on. The only person we're talking to right now is Terrence Brooks. Obviously, he's older. He may just be a backup. We might not even keep him next year, but he has so much interest in the team. Maybe we're able to get him for a little bit cheaper than we would some other safeties. So we'll make the offer, $2 million salary, $1 million signing bonus. He says, I'm excited to sign such a great offer and stay with the team. And we love to see that. So we have a safety on the board. Whether we use him or not, it's good to have somebody who loves the team that much. And I'm hoping next week we can start talking to Royce Freeman, Kevin Pierre-Louis, Jonathan Owens. We'll make the decisions on those kind of players. I want to take some time. Let's talk about what we have to look forward to for the rest of the year before we talk about next week. So obviously, if we look at the standings down here, let's pull it up real quick. The standings for our division, this is not our division, AFC South. Colts are leading the way 8-3. I know. It's rough. They've been very strong, but we have had back and forth. We are 5-4-1. So we are only a few games back. And our last game of the year, we go up against the Colts once more. And I'm pretty sure we're at home. So I think that's going to be a great opportunity for us, which means we have to get within one game at the very end of the year. And we might have a shot at this division, no matter how rough this season has been. We just have to continue to be good, dominant, play good games. But that's huge. So we have to look forward to that. If we look at our team schedule, which I will pull up if I can go over here, team schedule. Obviously, we're not going to talk about what we've already seen. We know about that. This week, we're going up against the Dolphins. We'll talk about that in a moment. Then we go up against the Browns at home. We go to visit the Cowboys in the Jerry Dome. Chiefs at home. That's going to be a rough one. We see the Titans once more. Hopefully, we can pick up a W there. We see the Jaguars once more. Hopefully, we can find a win this time and not go for the tie. And then we see the Colts. We don't see them at home. We're going to Indianapolis. All the pressure will be on us if we can keep us within standing. We have to finish out this year strong if we have any hope of getting anywhere this year. But after talking about all that, now it is time to focus on this week. We are going up against the Miami Dolphins at Miami. It's going to be hot. And let's talk about what we're going to be seeing on the field this week. For injuries, thankfully for us, we still have no injuries on the board. Obo sitting there on the injured reserve. Sorry about that, buddy, but we had to make a business decision for them. They only have one injury. One of their linebackers, Channing Tyndale, has a broken finger. He's out for 2 weeks, so that's a blow for them. But let's see who we will be seeing on the field this week. At quarterback for them, Tua Tagovailoa. I'm going to mispronounce that so much. We're probably going to be calling him Tua the entire game. He's backed up by Teddy Bridgewater, so two very close guys. We could see them interchange. Hopefully Tua can stay healthy. But anyway, in the running back department, they have Chase Edmonds running the game. He's backed up by Myles Gaskin. For fullback, Alec Ingold. The receiver department, this is an interesting one because they have Tyreek Hill, the speed demon. And we saw how we fared against Curtis Samuel, an even faster guy. We have to see how we can keep up with him. Jalen Waddle, number 2. And then we all know number 3, Brandon Cooks, the former Texan. We traded him away this year, and he's been pretty solid for them. So we're going to have to see if we can prevent him from having a comeback game against us. Adam Humphries and Eric Izukama are the other receivers for them. Tight end Mike Gesicki, he's a monster for them. On the line, Teron Armstead is a massive left tackle. It's going to be hard to get pressure off that left side. Left guard, Eric Flowers. Center, Connor Williams. Robert Hunt on the right guard. Right tackle is Liam Eichenberg. On the left end, in the defense, Emmanuel Ogba holds that down. The right defensive end is going to be Christian Wilkins. For the defensive tackles, Raekwon Davis and John Jenkins hold that one down. From the left side of the linebackers, Melvin Ingram, another monster for them. Middle linebacker, Damian Wilson and Jelani Tavai are locking that one down. Off the right side, Andrew Von Ginkel. For corners, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Nick Needham, For safeties, they have Javon Holland and also Eric Rowe. And for kicker, they have Jason Sanders. And for punter, Thomas Morstead. So a very, very solid team. Now let's figure out how we're going to game plan against that. So I think this week, we're going to have to defend the medium pass. I don't think they're going to be a big run team, so I don't think we have to worry about that. I do think we have to lock down the passing game. A lot of speed. We got eaten up over the middle last game out. I think we have to try and contain this passing game, and if we can't, it's going to be a long, long day for us. So we're going to defend the medium pass. I've been thinking about it for our offensive game plan. They have monsters all over. Blitz plays. It looks like they lead the league in blitzes. We might just have to counter the blitz. We might be able to get some double moves off on them. Hopefully, it doesn't impede our progress too much. But we got to try and counter the blitz, give us enough time to work with, and hopefully we can come out not too scathed in this game, maybe even find a win. I was thinking about player health, what we should do for practices. I think we have to keep going full throttle. Our goal is not to get to the playoffs this year. If we do, it's a plus, but we have to keep developing our guys. We cannot get them off a strong production in the training department. So our coaches have submitted our goals. For Lovie Smith, he has said, let's just get 15 plus first downs. This is going to be a rough game. We're going to have to work very hard for this one. If we can just be consistent, get a ton of first downs, keep it moving, we should have a better chance in this game than we hope. Offensive coordinator said 250 offensive yards. Obviously, their defense is tough. If we can get it moving, that's not a too huge of a goal to work towards, and it might get us somewhere. Defensive coordinator, allow 24 points or less. We have to try and keep up with them. So the story of the day is going to be trying to limit them, and 24 points, that's pretty good for this team. Weekly game plan, I'm saying let's get one interception. Tua is still young. He may not be the greatest just yet. Let's try to get him off his rhythm, get a pick off of him, and if we can get that, we might get somewhere in this game. And we have come out of this game unscathed. This practice unscathed. We love to see that. We have to go over some of the upgrades that happened this week, and we're going to talk about first Jerome Baker. He is continuing to improve. We saw a great game from him last game out. We saw improvements in his agility, his man coverage, and his zone coverage. That is huge, locking down the middle. We're going to need that. And Quez Watkins had a monster game this week. We saw improvements in his catch in traffic, his release, and his spectacular catch. We love to see that improvement. After a monster game like that, we have to keep following that up. He could be the future of this team, especially after a game like that. Dameon Pierce also continues to get better. We saw improvements in his break tackle, his carrying, and his stiff arm. So we'd love to see that, especially the carrying after that fumble last time out. Those are huge improvements from him. And then real quick, we'll also talk about Kenyon Green and Malik Collins. They also saw some great improvement this week, so we love to see that. And after all of that, I think we are finally ready. And after all of that, I think we are finally ready into Hard Rock Stadium. Week 12, ready to take on the Miami Dolphins. If you guys enjoyed, remember to like, comment, Miami Dolphins. If you guys enjoyed, remember to like, comment, subscribe. I can't wait. I will see you guys next time out as we take on the Miami Dolphins. I will see you guys next time out as we take on the Miami Dolphins. Reunion with Brandon Cooks. I can't wait. This might be the definition of our season. But this might be the definition of our season. I will catch you guys. Anyways, I hope you guys